What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It is Friday night, 9 o'clock Central Time, and I got a crew in the house. I got my guy Aaron, Joe, and the one and only Disco in the house. And we're already pumped up. Brian in the chat, what's up? What's up? Let's get this party started. And we already got questions popping in. We got Sleaze popping in. Appreciate you joining in. We got Albert in the house. What's up, Albert? Hey, so this is our Q&A show from the forums by Fantasy Football or Fantasy Sports Advice Network. This show is meant for you guys to drop your questions in. We're going to try to rain in some answers and help you nail your week 5. But before we get started real quick, I'm just going to run around and we'll start with you, Aaron, Disco, Joe. Just kind of introduce yourself real quick. Let them know where they can find your content, and then let's get to rocking.
FantasyFootballUniverse.com. Everything I do is pretty much there. Some stuff on Fantasy Pros. That's pretty much it. That's where I am.
What's up, guys? It's Disco from the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. You can also find me at Big Drafters HQ. And I do a heck of a lot of work with My Mind as a Weapon Fantasy Football, so you can find a lot of my content there as well.
Nice. Also, nice call out on Tyler Kraft last week. That was
Appreciate it.
Pretty sick. Yeah. Joe Frick around the 412 Fantasy Football Show, holding it down for the 412 area code in the interesting city of Cleveland, Ohio. So we're making friends out here. It's a good time. But what's up, Tyler? How you living, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad you're making friends in Cleveland because I don't know if many people else are. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, Cleveland. Whew. Hey, but man, I don't know that you've ever. I don't know that there's many times in history where Cleveland people are like, "Yeah, Cleveland," maybe when they drafted Baker, but then they gave him the boot, and now he's taking Tampa to the playoffs. So I'm sure that one burns a little bit too. But
yeah, that's fine. It's fine by me. I really greatly enjoy the Browns being terrible, so it makes me sleep well at night.
Oh, yeah, you're a Steelers fan, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so popping in the chat right off top, we got Kanoa built in my 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league. Wide receivers are thin on waivers. I have Chase and Josephus. Do you like the idea of handcuffing Chase? My other wide receivers are Pittman, Myers, Ridley, and Cup. Or should I drop for Chandler?
Do you need to play Chandler? That would be my
I imagine so.
Yeah. If you need to play Chandler, I don't mind dropping him. I'm not a big believer in handcuffing wide receivers, but I don't think Yoshivas is a must-hold if you need to start Chandler this week.
Yeah, I never really liked the idea. Maybe like in a deep redraft league, but realistically, like I'm pretty optimistic in the fact that, hey, I drafted this team. If they're going to win, they're going to be healthy. Let's stick with it. I think that offensive dynamic is going to shift now that T. Higgins is back from injury. So I don't think it's priority. I also don't have a lot of faith in Ty Chandler. So it doesn't feel like something that I would go running out for.
I have to say, I'm going to have to Google translate how to actually say that guy's name because I've heard it 50 different times and I butcher it every time.
Yoshivas.
Yeah. Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Maybe I won't look like so much of a rookie. What do you think, Disco?
Honestly, Ty Chandler is a must pick up in every single league. If we look at the injury history, especially the last 3 years with Aaron Jones, he is bound to miss time. How much time, we don't know, but the time that he's going to miss, there's going to be some significant opportunity and touches. So, yeah, get rid of Yoshivas, pick up Ty Chandler. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, we're going to talk handcuffs. I'd rather the running back handcuff, even if it's not your own handcuff. I'd rather backup running backs over a handcuff wide receiver.
Absolutely.
100%. And the key, one of the keys here is, with we saw, Anthony Richardson go down, and all of a sudden, everybody was going, I wish I would have started Pittman, so we may see a big uptick there. So you probably don't really need to have. I mean, Ridley's letting you down, but that's that's quarterback woes. But you at least, I don't think you have to carry 2 wide receivers on the same team. And I'm in agreement. If I want to handcuff, I want to run him back. And then Brian popping in saying between bye weeks and injuries, it's hard to handcuff wide receivers. I like the idea of Chandler. So it seems to be a consensus pick there. All right, Andre saying need some help, boys. 1-3 record, tough start. I'm there in one league. 12-team full PPR. What moves do I make? I got Hurts, Kyron, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, Higgins, Komet, Flex, Reed. Bench, he's got Baker, Braylon Allen, Hunt, Coleman, Kirk, and Andrews.
Need some wide receiver help.
Yeah, I'd love
I
to
don't
see.
think this looks like a 1-3 team though. Like this seems like a decent team that got off to a slow start. I don't like his wide receiver depth, and he could
plus the Love game, so like that could have knocked you quite a bit. Higgins missed the first week or two, so
you need a tight end. But who does? Well, you have Andrews, so you still need a tight end.
He's got Komet though. That's one big week.
You still need a tight end, but everyone needs a tight end. So
do y'all think that Baker can sustain what he's doing right now? I mean, he's currently the top 5 fantasy quarterback.
No.
To me, like Hurts seems to be the most logical like trade piece if you have faith in Baker.
Have you looked at the numbers for Baker? It's like 160 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 50 yards rushing. So the second the touchdowns take a dive, it's not every game, but the seconds the touchdowns stop coming in threes, he's going to go back to 18 points per game.
I mean, maybe the same thing for Darnold, but right now we're living the dream, right? Baker's doing the thing. Darnold's doing the thing.
Dropping shit all over.
So, you know, what sticks out to me here is I'm a big like buy high, like or sell high, buy low type of player, and I'm always looking for players to have huge upticks. And you always have the people in your leagues that are gonna like fall on that. Like, you know, like I'm sitting here looking, and I think you need running back help. Jacobs has been really, you know, underwhelming. Braylon Allen has been decent. Like you could probably actually play him over Jacobs and have a higher floor at the current state of things. But, you know, Kareem Hunt, we saw Carson Steele fumble again, you know, and them start to lean on Hunt. That won't be forever, obviously. So, you know, there's potential sell high right there. Maybe you can get some running back out, or maybe you can get a tight end. You know, the tight end has not been a overwhelming position this year. Like, you know, you said Komet, they still need a tight end. Komet, I think right now is like what, tight end 4?
Tight end 4 or 5, yeah. It's like if you scored a touchdown this year as tight end, you're probably top 5.
Yeah, so you know, like there's you could probably go out there and get anyone you really want. And honestly, I'm probably looking for maybe like a Dallas Goedert. Pair that up with Hurts. He's been pretty consistent up there. At least, you know, I guess in the marginal tight end world that we're living in now. We did get a little bit of flair from Laporta last week, but I might try to move Hunt for somebody. You know, but that last 4, like Hunt, Coleman, Kirk, and Andrews are really going to be up and down. I mean, any other takes on that?
Play Mark Andrews, play Keon Coleman, try to get rid of Higgins the moment he has a positive game. Everybody's talking about this is the Stephon Diggs revenge game. Nobody's talking about the guy they replaced Diggs with. This is the Keon Coleman game. He's going to show Buffalo the reason why they got rid of that fucking diva. Sorry, am I allowed to curse on your channel? The reason why they canceled that diva. And yeah, man, I'm all in on Keon Coleman this week, especially with Khalil Shakir being out. It's going to be a biblical performance, and yeah, then I'd sell high.
So I am actually on the. Not on the other side, but I am on a buy. I have made 2 trades this week that have netted me Dalton Kincaid, and I'm feeling really good about it this week. What do you have, like 7 targets last week, 5 catches? I shake your head, but for me now, granted, I've been riding an injured Njoku and whatever person that I can find on waivers at any given week. So to get somebody like that, I'm pretty excited. But, you know, I also took Coleman in a bunch of leagues, and, you know, I get glimpses and hope, and then I get zeros, you know, and just complete letdown. You know, and it's a struggle bus for the Keon Coleman deal.
This has got to be the week, though. This is it. If he doesn't do it here,
then
you start to worry.
Lose all hope. Yeah, 1-4.
Disco's right. He should do it here, though.
I don't think that he does. I don't think he has the ability to separate. I don't think he's going to do anything. I was very low on him in college. We'll see what happens. I mean, they got to throw it to somebody, right?
Yeah, sheer volume alone.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be that good.
Either that or James Cook has like 100 receptions this week.
I guess.
What a question, though. I actually like Higgins. Going back to Higgins, I know that but like you saw him get a lot of targets last week. His first week back, everybody you look at the stat line or you look at the points and you're like, oh, he didn't have a great week. If you watch the game, you know that he had like 3 red zone targets. One he caught in the very side of the end zone, 1 foot out, just was a tight catch. But I mean, inches, it's like Ridley last year. He was inches away from a double digit with the touchdown game. And we started seeing him get more involved last week. I was encouraged. I think that Higgins can definitely help. I don't know that, I like Higgins now and then Coleman as the season progresses. Josh Allen tends to lock on to targets like we saw it at the end of last season. Disco, I know you're a big DFS guy. I just raked in the dollars on the Dalton Kincaid receptions prop over and over and over and over again last season at the end of the season as he just locked on and just fed him, just short passes to Dalton Kincaid all day. So we know that it tends to lack. Right now it's Shakir, but Shakir's going to be out. So who's he going to lock onto is the question. You say Coleman, I say Kincaid. Joe says James Cook. What we know is the Bills are just a convoluted mess right now.
Your other point, though, was right. Sell Higgins, right? Disco's point, I think. Sell Higgins when you can because he's Jalen Waddle. He has the talent, but every game you risk 1 catch, 7 yards out with a soft tissue injury. Every week, it's the 2 of them. It's Deontay Johnson, too.
The Waddle hate hurts my soul. I feel that way about Higgins, but Waddle,
it's true.
That one took me back a little bit. I respect it.
So we're gonna keep moving. We got Canoa Bill dropping back in. He said, "Drop one, Ford or Swift. Who are you dropping?"
What kind of league is this? Is this like a 6-man league? What kind of team do you have? I like Swift a heck of a lot this week. I think Swift is going to impress. I liked him a heck of a lot last week as well, and he did impress. Jerome Ford, he's got a plus matchup, but he's one of those players where he doesn't do what he's supposed to do when he has a plus matchup. So if I had to drop one, and I wouldn't, it would probably lean towards Jerome Ford because the matchups for Swift look spectacular for the next couple of weeks.
I wonder
Chubb
if there's
was,
some reservation about being Chubb coming back. That's what I was just going to say.
What is it? He's on the activated, right? So it's 3 weeks?
Yeah.
They have to activate him? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or he gets shut down for the year.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. I didn't mean to.
No. You were on the same boat that I was. I think there's some there's a lot of anxiety about Chubb coming back. You saw the videos 3-4 weeks ago of him squatting 600 pounds, and it's cool, but that's not lateral movement.
No, it's not.
So even if he's practicing for 3 weeks, I think he's a long way away. He's my wife's favorite football player, so I'm glad that she's not here. Because she probably would throw me out of the stream. But I think Chubb still has some run. There's no one really backing up Ford right now. Pierre Strong isn't going to do anything. Foreman isn't really doing anything there. To me, I don't see how you drop either one either, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm definitely not dropping either one. I'm going to try to move for a trade, and I'm going to try to sell Swift off that huge week and what he does to us all the time of that, big time tease of he can be electric. The thing about the Browns is we've seen them year after year make 2 running backs relevant. Whether it be Chubb and Ford or Chubb and Hunt or, Hunt and Dearness Johnson, they have a good run offense. That's their game design. And any running, they can make 2. It's kind of like the Lions, right? You could play your season. You could start Gibbs and you could start Monty every week and you're going to be fine. Now, I'm not saying that Chubb and Ford are that, but they definitely can both be relevant, especially with the passing game that's just struggling.
Swift gets Carolina, and Ford gets Washington. Don't drop them. They need to be in your lineup. You can't drop anyone else. They're both in great matchups this week.
So the one thing I will say is that Washington played pretty poorly against the run on week 1, so that skews their season totals for a little bit. If you're looking at the last 3 weeks in PPR, they're only giving up 18.4 points a game. So they had a bad week 1, but I don't know if that's reflective of where their run game is now. It could be game script dependent too, because they've been in some shootouts, but it hasn't been as porous maybe as the numbers say. The other thing I'll say about Cleveland, though, is the difference between years past and this present year. Their offensive line has taken a major step back this year. They have a lot more injuries to it, but it's not the top 5 offensive line that I could run for 100 yards off the street in. And that's a big part of why that offense is struggling. They don't have enough time to get through plays. They're not running the ball well. So I would tread lightly with that.
Yeah, they were missing 4 offensive linemen last week.
Yeah.
We're gonna start cranking through some questions because they're piling up on us. So we may have to move a little bit faster. But real quick, I just want to say, if you're watching, like, subscribe, and this show is sponsored by the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. It is the social media platform for fantasy sports. No ads, no Pilates workouts, no pictures of anybody's grandkids that you don't care about, no advertisements about, this new scheme to make your business great. It is just sports talk. And it is a lot of this. It is a lot of conversation about it. And so I'm going to roll this ad real quick, and then we'll kick back.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Boom.
Why you gotta hate on pictures of my grandkids?
And Reddit. What's up with that? I like in them streets, baby.
Hey, man, we just like it to be simple, okay? We just like to talk ball over there. All right, so, Kanobo adding on, he said he needs I don't need a start Chandler, just a stash. He's stashing. Gina popping in. What's up, Gina? Let's see here. Evan, pick 2, Wicks, Wandell, Madison. They all have injuries to the players at each of their positions in each team, so they are all upgraded this week. What 2 do you want?
The receivers.
So Wicks, Wandell. What do you think, Disco?
Shoot, I'm gonna go Wicks, Madison. I hate Madison with a passion because I'm a Zamir White truther, and he's vultured a couple touchdowns, and now Zamir's out. And if things keep going along this trend, it means Madison's gonna have a spectacular game with my guy being out. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Wicks has such a plus matchup this week. It's
Zamir White PTSD for Disco, hey?
It's tragic. Yeah, it's bad.
I will say, so we're missing Malik Neighbors this week. He's out for concussion, so Wandell's going to see
12 targets.
Yeah, a lot of targets. So I've got him on my list. The other 2 are pretty close for me.
Yeah, I feel like Zamir White for me this year was Alexander Madison for me last year, so it's funny that they're like competing against each other. I would say that Wandale is the easy pick for me. Green Bay, they switch back and forth so much on who they're going to. Jordan Love just hits the open guy. I feel like if I'm in like a close matchup or if I'm needing a floor, I probably go Madison with the second. If I need a little bit more upside, then I'd take the other receiver.
All right. In Dynasty PPR, Sober Money says, rebuild. Would you all trade away Pollard, Ayuk, Polk for Rice? Or separate trade in the same league, Ayuk, Gibbs, Pollard for Brooks and Jaden Reed and a 26 first?
Neither.
I don't love either of these trades. Keep what you have.
Yeah, you have that in
agreed.
the last stream. No.
Gibbs is probably going to be the best player out of all those.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right, boys, let's get nasty. My mind as a weapon says Pickens, Pittman, Brian Thomas Jr., pick 2.
You sit Pittman, right? That's the easy one.
Is Flacco playing or no?
Yeah,
No, it looks like it's Richardson, which makes it an easier sit.
Yeah.
I'd rather Flacco.
I definitely like Pickens. Brian Thomas Jr. has been coming on pretty heavy. I'm any receiver. I think what was the first game when Richardson had like all those, he had his big week. He only had 9 passes actually completed in that game. I am not big on the Richardson train. You know that, Aaron. We've talked about it before. But yeah, I'm sitting Pittman if Anthony Richardson is starting.
I'm gonna go Brian Thomas Jr. because I think unanimously at this point we've decided that he's him. This is such a great matchup against a horrible Indianapolis Colts secondary, and I'm gonna ride with Michael Pittman because before Anthony Richardson went out, he targeted him twice, he hit him twice, he had 3 out of 4 completions. It looked good. The Pittman train got rolling, last week, and it started with Anthony Richardson, and I think it continues. So Pickens, unfortunately, because I really do like him. You got good problems here.
You got like 80 yards a game for Pickens.
Yeah, you got good problems here, Sleazeball. But I'm riding with Pittman and BTJ to outscore Pickens this week.
Yeah, there's no pass volume for Pittsburgh. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And if they can't run against Dallas this week,
Phil Langford giving some love, I guess. It sounds like a bunch of liberals to me.
I read that.
I don't really know what that means.
That's a shot at Canadians that vote for Justin Trudeau.
I'm not a liberal and I'm not pro Trudeau. Trust me.
Yeah.
I am a Trumper, but let's not go there.
He said one Ohio cat. Like, come on, man. Like,
what's good, fellas? Brian Hartman says. Jerry popping in. Hi,
what up, Jerry?
Castle Sports, thoughts on the Chargers offense if healthy for fantasy?
They're never healthy.
Yeah.
Lad McConkey, I don't mind as like a 2 or a 3, but scary.
I think more we're talking about, they're wondering about Dobbins probably. We saw some big numbers from Dobbins. We saw a little bit off kilter the last couple weeks. Say what?
Sell high.
Yeah, sell high before injury. Let's see, Jerry. Let's see here. Speaking of Andrews, do we hold on to hope or is he droppable? Which sounds crazy, but if you have short benches, what would you do? I'm in leagues like this where it's like you got like 4 bench spots or 5 bench spots. In that arena, is Andrews droppable?
Play him. We've seen it with Pitts this week. He came out of nowhere. He'll turn it around eventually, you think.
So are you on that train? Like if you got Kelsey or you got Andrews and you're just seeing like Kelsey not even get looked at really, like are you still like you just got to play him? You got to roll with him. You took him in the top 5
now
rounds.
they have the Rice injury. He got his spot back. So
yeah, Kelsey and Pitts both turned it around. So maybe Andrews does the same. I don't like the chances as much, but
well, yeah, everybody was.
Who are you gonna pick up if you drop him? That's the question.
Yeah,
there's nobody.
So hang on to him, Gina. That is the thing. Hang on, hold out hope, and maybe okay. Disco, do you have a different take on that?
I was just going to say yesterday on Sleazeball stream, I said Kyle Pitts is going to be a top 5 tight end. Smash that call. There's something about me and tight ends where I hit those calls. I think Mark Andrews is a smash play this week. I love him and Isaiah Likely. It's a plus matchup across the board against the Cincinnati Bengals secondary that is not very spectacular, and they give up a bunch of chunk plays. It's going to be a good week for tight ends this week. Mark Andrews, hold on. I was looking at my one fantasy league with a short bench to see if Mark Andrews was available there. He's not, unfortunately. But yeah, I love Mark Andrews. He's an absolute smash play, and hopefully the tight ends rectify themselves and get back to being good. Because in best ball, I went bully tight end a heck of a lot.
I did. I went bully tight end a lot this year for like Scott Fishbowl and all that stuff, and it's been difficult. Evan Ingram killed me with his pregame warm up. Start 2: Deontay, Pickens, or Coleman. Well, we know where Disco falls on this. No, maybe not. I don't know. But what are you thinking, Joe?
Yeah, so what has happened in Chicago is really interesting. They've really neutered more from like a route tree perspective. It's insane. Like he's just pretty much running straight up the field. He gets a couple targets a game. I don't really know what's happening there. Deontay's really emerged once Andy Dalton took over as the starting quarterback. So once they got an adult back there, he's been doing really good. I think Chicago is a tough matchup in the air, but just knowing the volume that he has, I ride there. So for me, it's going to be the old Pittsburgh guys. I don't have a lot of faith in Coleman. I do like the Pickens matchup, and I don't think Moore is getting enough work with the way that they're utilizing him in their offense.
Any different thoughts there?
You took it off the screen and I forgot who it was. Oh, I went Deontay and Coleman. My memory's not that good, man. You got to leave it on the screen.
It's a tough matchup for Deontay Johnson. Joe, that was hilarious. They put an owl back there. That was that made me smile. But yeah, you guys know how I feel about Keon Coleman. Hopefully, like we haven't really seen that Pickens game yet, right? Primetime football, Justin Fields, George Pickens. It would be nice. It would be nice. But Arthur Smith just does stupid stuff all the time, and I hate him.
Yeah, I mean, even last week though, he fumbled in the red zone, and then he had a wide open touchdown that he just dropped. So it's coming.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm Deontay. Just based off of a tough matchup, I don't like Deontay this week. And Keon Coleman is just an instinctual feeling. Hopefully, it smashes.
I love the fact that you're just saying like it's just a gut thing. It's a gut thing. I'm feeling it. Smash it. Ride or die, right? Like that's the phrase. Right?
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I tell people that sometimes when we're doing we do a Q&A on Sunday mornings, and people ask questions, and sometimes I'll tell somebody, I'll be like, hey, look, this is the play. Don't ask me why. I'm not going to give you any stat reason why. Just know I'm with you. I'm rolling, and so if we go down, we go down together.
Coleman does feel like the ultimate trap, though, doesn't he? It's like he's got to be decent. There's nobody else, and then it turns out he just sucks. So it doesn't matter.
Mac Hollins legacy game, baby.
Oh no! Oh no!
Mac Hollins legacy game. Oh my god!
I hope not.
I'm sorry that I said it out loud.
You get disco and tilt now, man.
I'm sweating this, man.
I'm gonna wake up on Monday. I'm gonna be blocked by discos. You're talking about here.
All right, let me so I'm going to pop over to the Fantasy Sports Advice Network real quick, and we had a question on there. I want to get y'all's opinion. So question is, guy wants Jordan Mason. He's trying to deal for Jordan Mason. Who do I pick? Swift has to be in it. So he's trading Mason for Swift, and I'm trying to get rid of Pitts. So he's going to do – it looks like right now he's dealing Mason, Sutton, and Pitts, or Mason and Pitts, trying to grab a Swift and one of either JSN, Olave, Pickens, Adams, or Goddard. Who are you trying to target in that trade, or are you keeping what you got?
I like Olave or Pickens there. I think Goddard, as soon as Brown and Devonta are healthy, Devonta Smith are healthy, he becomes a non-factor again. I don't think JSN is getting enough run in Seattle. They threw it a ton last week, but I don't think that's going to be a week-to-week thing. And then if Devontae Adams gets traded, unless he goes to Buffalo or like somehow
KC?
like a team that doesn't have he won't go to KC. I don't see how.
No, I know it's divisional, but I get that's the track you were going on. Someone
yeah,
without a one.
I don't like whatever happens in New York. Like, I don't think most situations it'll be better for him.
Yeah, agreed.
I think I'm wanting some version of like, if I'm going to deal Mason, Pitts, and Sutton, which is pretty tough, I'm going to want something like, which I'm not a Swift guy, so I don't really want Swift, but probably Swift, Goddard, and then either an Olave or Pickens. I'd probably shoot for Olave, but I would settle for Pickens if they would dish. Anybody else got one on that?
I don't want to make this deal. You're giving up Mason, and I need a running back better than that. I get it. McCaffrey could be back in a month, but he could be done for the year. That tendonitis is apparently getting worse. I'm not giving up a top 12 running back.
Yeah. I'm going to say, like, as the number one Kyle Pitts hater in the offseason, the rest of his schedule is absolutely spectacular, especially when it comes to your fantasy playoffs. I don't like this trade for you in general, especially since you're trying to gun for a DeAndre Swift as like your ROI. The ROI is not there for you, brother. I personally would not trade. I would hold on because you're not getting your return on investment.
Agreed.
Yeah, I like the take. It's like I said, that's a difficult for me. I would be happy to deal Sutton. I like Pitts. I like Mason. The only upside there for me is the wide receiver upgrade. But again, I kind of with you guys. I don't know if I would be interested in taking the downgrade everybody else.
Yeah.
So we got Terrell T in the chat. What's up, guys? Higgins or Deontay this week? Higgins or Deontay?
Neither.
You gotta go with one.
I'm okay with that.
I think based off of game script, T. Higgins should get more utilization, but he's also coming off his second week of injury, and the anatomical adaptation isn't quite there yet. So he still has 2 to 3 weeks to get that build up. So he's in game shape. So I got to ride with Deontay here, and
Hold on, wait. I just need to go back to that double A word that you just.
Anatomical adaptation. It's just a good word for muscle memory. 5,000.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm a physiotherapist, so there that is.
Take it from the physiotherapist.
One more needs to be said. That's incredible.
Everybody popping in. Let's see. Disco. Hi, Gina. Disco, thanks for giving people shout outs in the chat. Appreciate that. Gina's saying, what's up?
So you're Canadian and in healthcare? Me too.
Yep, it sucks.
Me too.
Canadian and in healthcare.
That's both of us, yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
So, this is a big question. Obviously, people are talking about it. What do we do with Rasheed if no IR spot? I'm not really worried about the IR spot. Like that if redraft, I don't know that I'm in, but like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I would like to add to this question. What are you doing with him in redraft if you don't have an IR spot? And then what are you doing with him in Dynasty?
Well, you have to hold him in Dynasty. Even if you don't have room for him, you have to hold him on your bench and waste the spot. You're not dropping him.
I would try to trade for him. I would try to trade for him if I'm trying to tank. Or like if I know that I'm tearing down, it's like, hey, like my season's in the toilet. Here's this decent wide receiver. The only thing you have to worry about is if he gets suspended at all next year.
Yeah, well, that's 2 years that are now in flux. So that's a kind of a shitty situation. I'm not dropping him for what it's worth. Like realistically, okay, redraft, dynasty, doesn't matter. Who is available in your league that could possibly, put you in the position where you're questioning, oh, should I drop Rashee Rice? Because like long term, it's just it doesn't make sense. I think Rashee Rice needs to stay on your roster, IR spot or not. And I apologize you're dealing with this situation.
So what if he's got 4 or 5 bench spots? You got Mageddon coming up. You may not have enough people to roster a full team. And in that case, are you forced to? Is he droppable in that world? Or are you trying to trade him before Mageddon gets here? Or,
like situationally, that's a big if.
I know it hurts.
That's a major reach. Like Mageddon, he's got to drop him in order to have a full roster.
It's there. It's not even Mageddon, and I have one person available on my bench in like a 7-person bench area. Like I've got one person left that everybody else is on bye.
Yeah,
so when you get into those weeks,
everybody's out. I get it. Gibbs, it makes sense. But yeah, if that is like, how what's his face? What's the wizard's name from the Avengers? What's his name? Doctor Strange. He was like, there's one situation, one scenario. That's the one. That's the one.
It is weird though that they haven't been able to identify if it's ACL or not. Just because like the on-field tests that they can typically do, they generally know pretty fast, and then the scan confirms it. So it's shocking to me that they haven't even.
They're keeping this one really cool.
No.
Yeah.
The swelling shouldn't affect the results or their ability to get the results. I think they know and they're not saying.
Yeah.
To what end, I don't know.
Yeah, they're definitely in the gray area when it comes to bending the rules.
All right, so we got Facebook user coming in, Trey Sermon or Austin Eckler, full point PPR.
Trey Sermon feels like a trap, doesn't he? Is like, what's the split you think here? You think Evan Hall gets a decent share?
Oh, God.
I forgot about Evan Hall until you said his name.
Because there's also Tyler Goodson.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull up the snap shares because, like, we don't have a lot of information on the snap shares in general because it's just been 100%,
JT
the entire time. But let's see if there's any different information here. Honestly, I'm just going to go with Eckler because somebody for the Washington Commanders is going to fall into the end zone, and Eckler's a great receiving threat, and he finds an avenue to produce, especially PPR format. I'd rather go Eckler because it's just too volatile. So it looks like Sermon's going to be the guy, 26% last game, 9% the game before that. 32% the game before that, whereas the most snaps we saw out of Goodson is 16. So it's Sermon, then Goodson. Hall's not even an option.
Yeah, I'll go with what he said. Roll with Eckler. Makes sense.
I like it. Fields or Kyler?
One gets San Fran, so the one not facing San. Oh, that's so tough though. It's Fields. Oh, anybody else?
I played Fields.
I'm going with Kyler. Kyler, when he has a plus, he's another one of those guys where when he has a great matchup, he plays like doo-doo, and when he has a horrible matchup, he plays absolutely tremendous. And with the news of Fred Warner being out, I think Kyler's an absolute smash.
Doesn't Arizona always somehow weirdly destroy San Francisco every year too?
It's always competitive. It's always competitive. That division is very interesting.
Even when Arizona was terrible, they would still beat.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So I'm riding with Kyler. I think Kyler's got top 5.
I forgot about that. I didn't. I'm not gonna say I was wrong. I just had different information before. So I think
I'll go Kyler too, though. But the way Fields has been producing lately is with his arm, and I don't think that's long-term success for him. He's a rushing quarterback, not a high-volume passer. So I'll go Kyler.
Christian, you have great problems.
Yes.
Great problems. I like it. Good stuff on the answer, boys. I'm gonna be lurking.
Shout out to my guy Sleazeball. Shout out to him.
I got Sleaze on I think I got him scheduled for a show this season. I can't remember which week it is.
He's great, peoples.
Andrew Burwell coming in, fellas. Do I start Tyreek, Sermon, or Hunt in my flex?
You never thought you'd ask that question.
I know, right? When did you think that you would ever be considering a bench of Tyreek Hill this season? But my wide receivers are Amon-Ra, Reed, Higgins, Tyreek. My running backs are Kyron, Cook, Kareem Hunt, and Bucky Irving. Well, Bucky obviously has already played, so that one's out. So you going Tyreek, Sermon, or Hunt in the flex?
I can bench Tyreek, but I don't think I can bench him for either of these two. I get we're down on him, and Huntley probably sucks, but I'd hate myself if I benched Hill and he actually found a way to produce.
It's difficult. You think, in the same conversation, we've been sitting here talking, same conversation where you got to roll with Andrews. Andrews is going to eventually, he's going to have his week, and at the same time, we're do we bench Tyreek Hill? And it's Tyreek Hill, he only really needs one pass. And
Andrews has his quarterback though. That's why we're still on it. I'm still starting Tyreek. It's just,
here's the thing. Andrews has been effective with Huntley throwing him the football.
Yeah.
At least Huntley can throw the football.
Well, he used to be able to. After last week, I'm not so sure.
Last week was pretty rough.
Andrew's following me from the last show because he asked that same question last show that I was on prior to this, and I'm going to say the same thing that you guys said earlier. It's weird that we're talking about this scenario and this situation, but I'm starting Tyreek obviously because I invested in Tyreek, but also this is a really, really good matchup across the board. He has a top matchup where the Patriots allow 14.75 receptions to the wide receiver position, 176.50 Receiving yards to the wide receiver position and 0.75 receiving touchdowns. Translations, the top 5 matchup across the board for wide receivers, and also a very plus matchup for quarterbacks. So if you put a really bad quarterback with an explosive wide receiver in a good scenario, you're going to get good results. I think Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are both going to smash this week.
I mean, I can't bench Tyreek Hill. I would. That's one of those times I would argue with myself for forever, and then I would end up not doing it. Like even if I decided to tinker on Sunday and I popped somebody in for a second, I would then turn around and pop Tyreek back in. Like I just couldn't do it.
I can bench him, but not for Sermon or Hunt. Like there's a line to how I think I have him down as my wide receiver 18, but there's a line of how far you can go, and those two are beyond that line.
Hi, Wendy.
So Binking popping in to the comment earlier where we were all called liberals, or at least the 2 Canadians were willing to accept or respect one's opinion other than their own.
Disagree.
Corey popping in, PPR flex, Trey Sermon, Rashid Shaheed, or Zay Flowers.
Shaheed. The Chiefs have like ascended to Bill Belichick level status with shutting down the wide receiver 1. So I think they completely blanket Chris Olave, and I think it's a Shaheed game. That's just me. I'm a Saints fan. I love Shaheed. I also love Olave, but I think it's a Shaheed week.
I think I'd probably run with Zay Flowers. I think that the Cincinnati-Baltimore game, Cincinnati's pretty porous in the air. They're not using really a ton of people. I don't have a lot of faith in Trey Sermon. I think Rashid Shaheed could be a good play, but he's very high risk, high reward for me. We've already seen him throw a goose egg this year. So it's like in a flex spot, I can't play with a goose egg potential. So give me Zay.
So does Zay's usage last week, or I guess just Lamar's interaction with the wide receivers, he pretty much, he fed the running back not only in the pass game, but they rushed a lot. Does that worry you for a Zay play?
I don't think so. I don't think Derrick Henry's going to run for 200 yards for the 3rd week in a row. So then they're going to have to throw the ball.
Anyone could do it. It's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure he has done it.
I don't doubt Derrick Henry's going to run for 200 3 weeks in a row. But if I'm just talking about the matchups across the board, who has the best matchup, it's got to be safe. Well, Trey Sermon has a great matchup on paper, but I'm not betting on him. I'd rather go with Zay Flowers here. I think Zay Flowers is the safest bet.
Yeah, I know he's not in this question, but I'm pro Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry all the way. That was my smash at the beginning of the season. I argued with people, and I just said any running back with Baltimore can be effective at a high rate because you have to play honest on Lamar. And with a big guy like that can't be arm tackled, I knew he was destined for touchdowns, and that's what we're getting, touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you went out on a limb there, hey, with the best pure rusher of the last 10 years as your solid play.
Well, everybody's like, the crazy thing is coming in the season, everybody's like, oh, Derrick Henry in Baltimore, boo. Like he's like going in like round 4 and 5 of drafts.
Dude, they had bad running backs averaging 6.5 yards per carry.
That's what I'm saying.
How was he not going to smash?
That's what
I think it was the age thing and just the number.
It was the age thing.
Plus, like Tennessee's O-line was so bad like the year before that it was like, was it him? Was it the line? But clearly,
to me, the age thing is not like it's all about the movement. Like you look at Frank Gore, just like elderly and still running the football, as he was before he retired. Like, you can tell by their ability to move if they still have it. Derrick Henry looks a little stiff, but he's never been a side-to-side guy anyways. He's a straight-on train. Like, let me just run straight and make it work.
He's also have you seen like his like attempts like in high school? Like if you go off of like the number of attempts he's accumulated in his career, the fact that like his legs still work is like unbelievable. Like he put up like 2,000 carries in high school, like 2,000 carries at Bama, and then like it's not like it's been a shortage of carries in the NFL. So like the fact that he's doing it, like this is extreme outlier in terms of like age curves and stuff like that.
I saw something about something. There's a stat that he spends like $208,000 a year or something just on physical upkeep.
I bet.
But I mean, week 5 out here in Frank Gore catching strays. That's kind of harsh, man. What did he do to you?
No, that was a
pro Frank
Gore.
Gore.
I liked Frank Gore. Frank Gore was one of my like guys. Like he was the guy that would go into the pile and you're like he's dead, and then somehow he pops out on the other side and then goes for 60 and a touchdown, and you're like it's like a magician, you know. I love Frank Gore. I love the Niners. But yeah, keep moving. Amon-Ra Supremacy says flex Chris Olave, Jordan Addison, Tank Dell, or Wandale.
Do we know Dell's back in the lineup for sure yet? Anybody got confirmation?
I'm not sure. No.
I mean, Vegas has all of his props up, so that's usually a key indicator that he's good to go. And he did practice today, and that's also a key indicator.
This is tough. Like Addison's matchup is horrendous.
I beg to differ. I think Jordan Addison is a top 10 wide receiver this week, and this is his floor, because all the coverage is going to go to JJ.
Yeah, you think Sauce goes to JJ and Addison runs wild?
That's exactly what I think is
I'll buy that.
Jordan Addison's going to absolutely smash. His prop right now on Drafters Fantasy. By the way, shameless plug. Drafters Fantasy promo code DISCO to double your initial deposit up to $100.
I'm with it.
You're
well played. Well done.
37.5 receiving yards. I think he triples that easily. So
do you think that the Jets, they've last 3 weeks they're giving up 22.4 points per game? Do you think that's just matchup driven by playing Denver, New England, Tennessee?
Yeah, absolutely. They've gone against horrendous pass offenses. We saw what they did against a formidable pass offense with Brock Purdy and the 49ers. We're going to see a very similar scheme, very similar coaching, very similar quarterback play, and a very similar attack with a very similar wide receivers. So I think Jordan Addison's an absolute smash play, and we're overthinking this one.
You know, the crazy thing is it is like Tank Dell for me is not on the docket in these three. The things I debate between is like a Wandale with no neighbors. I mean, even with neighbors, seeing double-digit targets a game, you know. And I'm not a Danny Dimes guy. Like I'm not, you know. And I'm not a Wandale guy either. But just the pure volume that's been there. And then same thing with Olave, how much him and Derek Carr are actually attaching. Now I know, Aaron, you said the matchup for Olave was rough, and you feel like they're gonna focus on him and free Shaheed. So I am buying that, but those three are tight for me.
I think it's Addison because Wandale, you're right. He's gonna get 12 to 14 targets, but it's Daniel Jones targets, so it could end up being 4 catches for.
Seattle's also been good defensively this year too. Maybe not last week, but the first 3 weeks of the season they've been pretty solid.
They've also had like similar to the New York Jets, really really easy matchups.
True.
Very similar schedule actually.
Yeah. So it sounds like Addison is the go there. Amon-Ra. Jason Ortiz, will you trade Godwin and Hawk for Marvin Harrison Jr.? My tight end is Kittle. I'm interested. So everybody's saying yes. I'm really interested in Aaron's take on this because I know Aaron has been yelling Godwin from the rooftops for like 3 years. So I know he's a fan. Aaron, are you doing that trade? Is Marvin Harrison that much of a boost over Godwin to let Hawkinson roll?
We're talking redraft here?
Yeah.
I think I want the Godwin side still. I think Hawkinson's back soon. I guess he doesn't really need him. He's got Kittle, but I don't know. I don't think Godwin and Marvin Harrison this year is a big enough difference. Like Godwin's what? Wide receiver 2 on the year?
He is currently.
Is that counting last night?
He's like top 5. If you're looking at points per game, the game last week or the game yesterday dropped him to 12th.
Give me Godwin still. I don't know. I think Hawkinson's worth it. I get it. The upside's Marvin Harrison, the shiny new toy. I don't know. I like Godwin, which is funny because I hate the Bucs. I'm a Saints fan, but I'd still rather the Godwin side.
Sorry, after yesterday, he's at 8th points per game.
What's Harrison at?
Harrison is at 18.
Godwin. I know you guys are going to disagree, but I'm still going Godwin.
No, that's what I wanted. I just wanted an honest take because I know you've been big on Godwin, and I know we've seen Baker throwing a lot. For me, if I like Marvin Harrison, I think that they're starting to build rapport. It was rookie and quarterback, right? Those things sometimes take time. We're seeing it with Coleman, we're seeing it with Brian Thomas. It just upticks as the season goes. So I like Marvin Harrison Jr. I like the Hawkinson is a non-factor for me if I have Kittle. I don't know that I'm starting him over Kittle, even though I guess Munt's been, been decent enough. But Kittle's been stellar when he's on the field, and that's a tough one though. But I think I want the Harrison Kittle side, even though that Kittle's already in there, not a part of the trade. So rebuilding, Paul Vo says trade JT for a Dunze and Kendre Miller.
I don't think that's enough.
I agree. I don't think it's enough. And I'm one of these. And I say it all the time on the show, in a 1-for-2 trade, it's never 1-for-2 or 2-for-1. It is always 2-for-2. So if you do this trade and you trade JT, it's not just costing you JT, it's also costing you somebody maybe droppable. It depends on how deep your roster is. If you got 4 or 5 or 6 bench spots, but you have to drop somebody else to fit that in there. And, I also always want to try to target the most point getter for each roster spot. So I want the best player in the trade and JT is that for me. Like he's got the most points. Now I know you got some injury stuff. There maybe that might happen. Anybody, Disco, what do you think?
I mean, DJ Moore's locked in Chicago for another 4 or 5 years contractually. So trading a running back whose window is still, viable in the next 3-4 years for a wide receiver 2, a second option at best for the next 3-4 years, it's not enough. You definitely need more out of that. I'm an advocate for, going with the youth movement, but Kendre Miller is not even a name that I'd consider.
I mean, if a pick's added, like, are you doing it if maybe you're getting a second rounder? No.
I'd consider doing it if a pick's added and it's got the number 1, for the upcoming season, and I'd only do it after the season's over. Like
the hard part here too with that is that if someone's trading for JT, I would think that if they're doing this, they're trying to contend. So it's probably going to be a late second, late first too. So.
Very, very good point. Yeah, so I'm not touching that trade whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right, Armando Zepeda Jr. What's up, fellas? Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. You're a baller. Akers or Tracy this week?
Is Vincent Papali playing as well for the Giants? Like, what's going on here? It's like backup week for them. Oh man.
That's a good matchup for Akers. He's probably touchdown dependent, but
the funny thing is I actually have a Papali jersey on.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's so funny. What a guy. Great move.
No, right. The little guy's got a spot too, okay? I don't love either of those guys. I'm probably looking for somebody else to play, in my opinion. You'd probably see – I grab an Alan Lazard off waivers and throw him in there, over one of those – but that's me. Anybody different on that?
If I had to pick between the two guys here, I mean, PPR would definitely have me more inclined to go with Tracy, but regardless, I'm going with Tracy. I'm going with a younger talent with more explosive upside. He's a spectacular player. I love everything that he brings to the table. We haven't seen enough in college from him because he's a former wide receiver, but I think he's an absolute smash, especially as a lone back here.
I think the other thing that we've seen too is even when Cam Akers has had the positive matchups while Mixon's been out, he hasn't done anything with it. They're also giving the wide receivers rushes in the red zone, which is going to be his best chance of getting the touchdown. So to me, Akers, I don't think he's that great. He's not doing enough. I would roll with Tracy as well.
Might I add, the only reason why it's a plus matchup if you look at the running backs and the just the running offensive schemes that the Buffalo Bills have gone against that have dominated, these are top 5 units across the board, especially when healthy. So, like, I really don't think that they're a bad rushing defense the way that everybody's assuming this is a plus matchup for Akers. I don't think that the run game is a very good run game in Houston. I think, Nico's going to smash. Stephon Diggs is going to smash. Cam Akers, I'm never betting on him, not even in DFS as a tertiary option. So, I tend to agree with both of you guys so far.
Yeah, I'm out on Akers. Also, Sermon or Dowdle?
Sermon?
Yeah.
Ew, gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Thoughts and prayers.
Constantino, trade Stroud and Henry for Kyler, A-Chain, and Garrett Wilson, or Kyler, Etienne, Dobbins, and Wilson.
Kyler, A-Chain, Garrett Wilson, gladly.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's redrafts, so.
I mean, Etienne's interesting, but like if they don't get right this week in a very get rightable situation, what are we doing with Jacksonville?
I don't know, man. I've got a lot of Trevor Lawrence in my dynasty leagues, and I'm sitting over here like just sick to my stomach,
I definitely didn't say on this show the last time I was here that Trevor Lawrence could be a top 10 quarterback this year. I didn't say that.
I mean, it's a good matchup this week. It's really good.
Yeah. We'll keep moving. I won't get on that one. Pareko coming in. Rather have Kyron, Breece, Jefferson, and Rather have Kyron, Breece, Jefferson, and Deontay / Waddle, or Kyron, Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, and Deontay / Waddle.
So who are we comparing?
So it sounds like it's either Breece or Jacobs.
It's Breece. It's Breece or Jacobs and Wilson.
Breece or Jacobs and Wilson. Okay, that's what it is.
Breece and Jefferson, just those two names combined. I lost tunnel vision everywhere else. It's like championship right there. Breece and Jefferson side, no matter what, it's beautiful. And the Kyron's there. God, geez.
What I think is interesting about these teams, I was thinking about this the other day. Do y'all think that Deontay Johnson is a sell high, knowing that they've said that they want to bring Bryce Young in at some point back into the fold?
I would sold him a long time ago.
But I mean, he's like top 15 wide receiver already.
Yeah, sell him. Sell him.
In my main dynasty league, I sold him and Ramondre Stevenson for AJ Brown because he was hurt. So I'm sitting pretty here.
All right. So, good. Okay. Is Shaheed and Judy enough to get for Garrett Wilson?
I doubt it.
Get him drunk? I don't know.
Get him drunk. Maybe, tell him a couple jokes and click his phone accept button for him. He won't remember. Tyrone Tracy, Moss, or Leggett for flex?
Tracy.
Not Zach Moss. Flip a coin for the other two.
Tracy.
All right. Hey, everyone. How y'all doing? Doing good. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'm big on Wan'Dale Robinson this week. What are you guys thinking? Well, I've talked about it multiple times. It's going to be double-digit targets. Will it be enough to make him a big contributor?
I'd rather go for the secondary option with Darius Slayton this week.
Somebody's got to get the ball. I don't hate it. But I still don't think he's more than a flex option at this point.
Armando Zepeda said, gross week for me. Bye weeks got me in one league, and injuries got me in another one. Word. Oh, we got a super chat. Caden coming in. 12-man PPR, 2-2. Traded Godwin for Jordan Mason. Thoughts?
It's so hard to know without seeing the rest of the lineup. If you have 3 other good receivers, then it could be worth it. it depends on what you think about CMC. I don't think he plays this year, so I think it could be fine. But if you have any inkling of hope that he is coming back in the nearest future, you can't make that trade.
He said his team is James Conner, Rashad White, Marvin Harrison Jr., Amon-Ra, Shakir, Jacoby Myers, JSN, and Justice Hill. Well, one, you're doing really good probably there. And I think with that, with Marvin Harrison Jr., Amon-Ra, Shakir, and even JSN with the targets he's been getting, I think that you can afford to let go of Godwin, and you definitely needed an upgrade in running back because Rashad White has been real messy.
Yeah, especially if we factor in that James Conner is going to inevitably miss time with his injury risk. You do need a contingency plan with Jordan Mason. So hopefully for your sake, Christian McCaffrey doesn't come back anytime soon.
World of Gazuz, maybe. Thanks for the question. Jesus, there you go. That's what it is. Way to go, Joe. You were probably great at those like mixed up word puzzles, where it's like, what word is this?
I just went to Catholic school, man. We know how to chop that up in a million different ways.
Start Allen versus Houston or JD5 versus Cleveland this week.
Allen.
Good problems.
Trade one.
Allen. He said, would you trade Jaden Daniels for Ayuk?
Yes.
And Ayuk for Neighbors?
Yes.
Wait. He's giving away 2 of them to get Neighbors? I read that wrong. I don't know. What?
Yeah, he's giving away Jaden Daniels and Ayuk to get Neighbors.
It's probably redraft, like standard setting stuff.
I get, but that still seems like, I don't know. I guess if you want. I get it's single QB, but sorry, go ahead.
If you have Josh Allen there, you're okay, right? So what it comes down to is it's really Malik Neighbors for Brandon Ayuk. And at the end of the day, Brandon Ayuk is going to be a bust the rest of the season because we've seen this with a lot of holdout situations with guys of his caliber. They're just going to be a bust the entire year, and then they're going to ball out next year. So unless it's a dynasty, yeah, man, you take Neighbors. I think it's a smash trade.
Like I get it.
It's an expendable out of the recording so that we can draft Ayuk next year for cheap.
I get it's an expendable asset in a single QB league. I just feel like you're getting better adding Neighbors. I just feel like you're making another team significantly better, giving them. I'm not as low on Ayuk, but I guess if he's as bad as you guys think he is, then I guess it's a moot point. But I think you're making them a lot better, one of your opponents.
Well, rest of the season, what do you have Brandon Ayuk? Like, where do you have him ranked, and what kind of projections do you have him on average?
I wasn't prepared for something.
I'd have to
like
look.
that.
I think I'm rest of season, wide receiver 20. So I don't have him as anywhere near as high as Neighbors, but I still have him as a wide receiver 2.
So just because I'm not trying to give you pushback here, I'm just trying to gauge like where you value Brandon Ayuk. So would you rather like he added one more player to the Neighbor situation, say like Mac Hollins, because this is his legacy game?
That's right. That's right.
Jesus, elite level troll there. He wins.
You're freeing up a roster spot. You can pick somebody off waivers in the trade.
Yeah. I mean, shit. The Josh Allen stack is there. I cursed again. Darn.
Okay, let me ask you this: would you rather trade Allen with like a lesser player, or even just like I don't know? Would you rather do that and keep Daniels?
I don't think you draft those 2 quarterbacks with the plan of keeping them both the entire season. Like one of them's got to be trade bait, and he's getting his bait in. So good for him.
Yeah, I think that Josh Allen will probably get you a higher take, but I don't hate the take on the board. Like Jaden Daniels and Ayuk for Neighbors, like it's going to be a strong uptick at wide receiver for you. But somebody that's just getting peppered with targets, and so I'm okay with it. Let's see. We're going to have to go lightning round. We are coming up on the end of our show. We got just a few questions, so we're going to try to hit them fast before anybody else pops in. So traded Rashad White, Pacheco, and 31% of my fab for A-Chain. I'm 1-3. Thoughts?
You're screwed if Tua doesn't come back and that offense becomes relevant.
Enjoy being 1-4.
I know it hurts.
Touche.
It's a good to try to win or try to win some games now, but man, when it's gonna be hurt, it's gonna hurt at the end of the season. If you can somehow make the playoffs, I'm sorry for you because by then A-Chain will be hurt, Pacheco will probably be back,
I think
and
that
maybe
was a dynasty
Waddle
move.
get rolling.
That was like a long-term play.
Buy into Reed. I like Reed in Dynasty.
The only thing that worries me is he's not playing in 2 receiver sets. It's been Wicks and Dobbs. I don't know if that matters, but that's why he's I don't want to say he's boom or bust, but that's why the others have been more relevant because he's not always on the field, which is why Wicks has suddenly become relevant. I still like him. What is he, wide receiver 4 on the year?
Points per game, he's 6.
I'd like to see him overtake Dobbs there and have him and Wicks as the 2 on the field.
Well, he's gonna this week because Dobbs
Isn't Dobbs hurt?
Yeah, Dobbs is out. So this is
Well,
a big
yeah.
matchup for Jaden Reed.
So he said same thing. Jaden Daniels and Ayuk for Marvin Harrison Jr. I think I want Neighbors over Jr. But I don't hate either one of those deals.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm doing it for Neighbors.
Okay, so this is connected to that question earlier. It said to get Brees, I'd have to trade Stafford, Jacobs, and Garrett Wilson for Brees, Judy, and Shaheed redraft. So that was the one where basically the difference was Brees and then Jacobs and Garrett Wilson. So if you could change Jacobs to Brees and have to give up Garrett Wilson and maybe replace him with Shaheed, which I mean, I think that you still had room in wide receiver there because you had JJ and, I think you're fine.
Yeah, do it.
At this point, Shaheed is outperforming Garrett Wilson. I don't expect it to last, but
I did just see that it was a super flex, so I'm curious who his 2 quarterbacks are. He said
AR and who was the
Mahomes.
other one? Yeah,
when he's
Mahomes.
giving up Stafford, right? That's
Yeah.
what it was?
Dude,
So
you're sitting pretty. Do it.
Yeah. Hey, should I try to get Mooney off waivers or add Sutton? I like
why
Mooney.
is Mooney on waivers?
Kirk Cousins loving some Mooney.
Yeah.
Get Mooney.
Hey, gummit. I said we had a few more questions and they just keep dropping.
Probably good, man.
I had to drop Josh Downs for Sermon because Mixon decided not to play this week again. I have Saquon on bye, so my running backs are Josh Jacobs and Sermon. Cool. Best of luck. Bijan for Davon Montgomery.
Unless you're getting Bijan, then all the power to you.
Yes.
Agreed.
Hey, appreciate the stream. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Buy into Kelsey. I'm good with getting Kelsey if you can get him for cheap for sure. I mean, I'm trying to get Kelsey. Period.
There's no one else.
Yeah,
He's the tight end 1 again.
Your legacy season.
Essentially Bad says I have Johnson on my bench. I'm considering dropping him for Emmanuel Wilson. I'm pretty set with wide receivers.
Deontay?
No, Quentin Johnson, who's on a bye.
Oh.
I think you could probably trade him and get more than Emmanuel Wilson, but
Are you putting Emmanuel Wilson in your lineup? If you are, you probably doesn't matter anyways.
Is McNichols available?
I'm probably trying to find somebody to pair up with Johnson and send to get somebody big.
Yeah.
Which 3 would you guys start? ETN, Cook, Ford, Hunt, or Thomas Jr.?
James Cook can't leave your lineup the way that they're utilizing him. We talked a lot about Thomas Jr. He seems like a consensus pick for the group. Out of the other ones, I don't see how Ford and Hunt get played over ETN.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah. I think there were 2 easy ones, and then I agree. Yep. ETN over Ford and Hunt.
All right. Start 3 full PPR. Amari, Brian Thomas Jr., Wan'Dale Robinson. Oh,
We got to start BTJ
Brian
twice. He's so good.
maybe.
You get one player that you get to use twice.
Cooper, BTJ, Garrett Wilson, I guess.
Sure, sounds good to me.
I like the BTJ and BTJ plus Garrett Wilson. That's
Yeah, can you play him twice? I'm down with that.
Best to go.
I'm here for that.
I'm there.
All right. So problem is I'm number 7 waiver priority. Not going to win Mooney most likely. That's sad. I'm sorry. I wish you could get higher on there. Yes, I still have Waddle and Deontay could use my. Okay, so that was connected to the question earlier. Trade Mahomes for Murray.
Yes.
No.
In redraft? No.
I think I have Mahomes 5 rest of season. I think I have Murray at 7. So yeah, I take Mahomes. I get he's like 17 right now, but
I take Mahomes because even like Murray has the rushing upside, but we haven't really seen him do that a lot this season. So that's not really there.
Best case scenario, they get a DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams. Worst case scenario, they get a Michael Thomas. Patrick Mahomes is still him.
Yeah. Rudy says Olave and Singletary for Jordan Mason and CMC. Full PPR, I have Hill, Debo, Wicks, Wandell, and Kirk. Man, I hate to let Olave go, but if I have Jordan Mason and CMC, you get a top 15 running back. Either way. Top 10 if CMC's there.
But do you want to do that right now with Hill and Shambles?
Singletary's out though, so
Yeah.
I think I want the San Fran running back side. You're a top 5 running back there. Top 10 maybe if it's Mason, but
And you're apparently only 3 weeks out from Tua being back. He said week 8, right?
I mean, here's what you guys need to ask yourself. Tyreek Hill's in shambles, but Chris Olave's had it like really, really good opportunity, really good matchup. He's had his quarterback the entire year, and he's been doo-doo. He's been
and that was with Derek Carr forgetting he was Derek Carr for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, no, he just had really great matchups, and the Saints are frauds. I'm sorry, Aaron.
no, Olave was better in the 2 games where the Saints lost. When Carr was going off, it wasn't Olave. Olave was almost unplayable, which is
I still think he's borderline unplayable, and he shouldn't have been drafted. So I'm going with the Jordan Mason CMC side easily here. I agree with what Tyler said.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna go lightning around 1 per. So this will be Aaron. I need to start 2 with the bigger upside. Lamb, Olave, Deontay, and Higgins. Currently have Lamb and Olave in. Are you playing anybody else over Olave?
Higgins? Ugh, it's so close. Flip a coin, Higgins or Olave. It's Lamb and Higgins, I think, for me. But like I said, I think Olave is getting shut down this week by a pretty damn good Chiefs secondary.
All right. Disco, do you think Joe Flacco plays this week?
I hope not.
Hey, I've got Michael Pittman
That
shares.
sounds like somebody that's got a lot of A-Rich shares. Should I lose my week purposely to get higher and get more chance?
That's for waivers. That must be reset waivers every week based off of standings.
Won't Mooney already be gone, though?
I'm a Falcons fan. I really want to. Here, this is what you need to know. I'll answer this one real quick. 1, if he's on waivers this week, he won't be next week. So losing to then get him is not really going to – I mean, it's not going to do you many favors. And 2, I'm never going to take an L to get a player.
You play to win the game.
You play to win the game. Yeah. All right, Joe. Wicks, Amari Cooper, or Kirk?
Wicks.
Aaron, back to you. Trade Monty for Devonta.
I want Monty. I know that's probably unpopular, but Monty.
Look at this. We got 3 questions at the same time. All right, just go Wicks, Amari Cooper, or Kirk. Did we already
did that one? You just did that one.
Or he just asked it like 4 times.
I'm going Wicks.
I'm getting screwed with buys, and I'm left with Ramondre and Justice Hill as my running backs. Is there hope?
Yes,
Ramondre got spanked for fumbling last week, right? So I think he's going to have a big game.
They announced today Gibson's the starter, which, I mean, tickets for what it's worth. It just could be the first snap. But
yeah.
It doesn't mean that he's benched. It just means
I know.
He's not going to get the starting reps. So I think people are looking way too into it. I'm not saying you are, but people are just overthinking it and overanalyzing it. Ramondre's going to be fine, and then sell high.
All right, Keith Tapp, 10-point PPR, A-Chain, or Swift. Pick one. Who is next? Is this Joe?
Dang it. I think with that offense, I'm taking Swift. And then out of that group of receivers, Shaheed. That's just a whole lot of mid.
Aaron, the look on your face says disgust or disagree. I don't know.
4 weeks ago, it was obviously Achan and Hill, but now it's like, holy. That looked like a really good lineup when you drafted it.
Yeah, it did.
Now, not so much Swift and Wandell. Shaheed, I think. Swift and Shaheed.
Well, look, we're going to go ahead and close this thing down.
On that note, you're going to end it with that?
I'm going to end.
Christ.
Well, I'll end it with this. Y'all are actually amazing. Subscribe for sure. Have a good night. Thank you, Essentially Bad, for the sub. You are essentially a good person in my book, or if bad is a good thing too, you're essentially bad. But thanks for tuning in, and thanks for everybody for joining in. Real quick, just let them know where they can find you. Let them know who you are and where they can find you one more time before we close this thing out. Aaron?
Tyler, before I say that, before I promote myself, what time you guys starting live Sunday morning?
We have 2 shows, one at 10 and then one starts at 10:30.
Okay, well, if you're up earlier than that, we're starting at 8:30, so come check our sit show out on Fantasy Football Universe, then head over to Tyler.
Do that. It's good stuff.
We're up early.
Disco?
Big Draft Energy on YouTube, Big Drafters HQ on Twitter. We post a lot of our plays. We called Tucker Kraft tight end number 1 last week. That smashed. Give us a follow, smash the subscription. Appreciate you guys. I'm also 6'8". That's why we're called Big Draft Energy. Bye.
Hey, so real quick before Joe goes, give us a little something. Give us a little something for this week.
Isaiah Likely, tight end 1.
Oh, okay. That's juicy. All right, Joe.
All right, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at JOEFRK, at AT412FF show. Mostly Sundays for me are just spitting out memes. So if you see something funny happen in the game, I'm probably tweeting about it. So,
dude, well, hey, thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Like, sub, appreciate it. And we will see you next week, 9 o'clock Central for From the Forum. And don't forget to catch our Sunday morning shows. Actually, go catch Aaron and them at 8. And then come over 8:30, and then come over and hang out with Breakfast at Biggs at 10, and Spilled Coffee at 10:30 till game time. While you watch some morning games overseas. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.